Right, YouTube? This is Simon here. It's been a while since I made a video, but I thought I've been playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh lately, so I'm gonna make a deck build on my Aroma deck. So first off, I've got 3 Aroma Gardens. This is the field spell for this deck. Once per turn, I can gain 5. Also, all my monsters gain 500 attack. This stacks, so if you like run 3 of these, then it'll run good. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but you can do attack on 1 turn. Additional attack, as well as 1500 life points. But this is really good for if they destroy one of the cards on my turn, I get 1000 LP, which lets me then trigger my Aroma monsters, because the whole thing about Aroma is it all requires your life points. If you gain life points and higher life points, their effects. So 3 Aroma Gardens. Fragrance Storm, which is just to get rid of a plant type monster to draw. This is good to get rid of Cancer. Once he's outdone his purpose, it's good to get rid of him. Magic Planter is to let me draw 2 if I send like one of my face-up cards, which I'll get to in a second, one of the trap cards. 2 Poison in the Oman, this is to trigger a Romage on their turn. So you set this, then activate it in like their battle phase to let Rosemary change it to defense. Or Kananga the latter bounce a spell or whatever. They have an equip card and they wouldn't be able to get over your monster without the equip card. You can bounce it back on their turn, so these is really good. Paraduality's card lets you 3 cards, or see the 3 cards of your deck and then pull one. 1 Regagi, pretty much self-explanatory. Terraforming to help me seek out Aroma Garden. Anti-spell Fragrance, which is really good for preventing field spells. So if you plant this, then they have to set their field spell, and Manga's effect lets you bounce it back. So it's a really powerful combo. Dried Winds is one of the most OP cards in this deck. Every time I gain life points, I can destroy one of their face-up monsters. And if my life points is at least 3k higher, I can cut my life points down to match theirs and completely destroy their side of the field. 2 Tornadoes, pretty self-explanatory. 2 Humid Winds lets me seek out roaming monsters every turn. It's also good for manipulating your life points, so that you can gain LP on their turns. 1 Jar of Avarice in case like all 3 of my Aroma Gardens, both my Humid Winds or both my Dried Winds or whatever, end up in the graveyard, because I don't have any like Spell Seekers cards in my graveyard. This is pretty much my lets me pull cards back out of my graveyard so I can use them. 2 Strikes, pretty self-explanatory. If pay 1500, you can afford it on this deck because you end up with so much life points. 1 Warning, same thing. Summon limit, because you never summon more than twice with this deck, so that's pretty, like, it just stops the enemy. There's no downside to it. And then Wall of Thorns is pretty much just a plant type Mirror Force. Alright, 3 Aroma Jars. This can't be destroyed and it gives you 500 life points. Lets you bounce back cards on their turn, change defense monsters. Can't be destroyed and you get 500, so it's just a good way to bank up. 2 Baramont, she's the heavy hitter in this deck. She does piercing damage to defense. All your plants do piercing damage to defense if your life points are higher. Gains 1000 attack. Once you gain life points, she gains 1000 attack until the end of the next turn. So she's really good that way. But if your life points are higher, all your enemies lose 500, plus with the 500 buff you get from Aroma. So, and if you gain XP or life points, she'll let you bounce a trap or a spell card back to the opponent. So it's really good, like I said, with the anti-spell Fragrance, if they have to put down their field spells, you can bounce them back. Yas, you can normal summon 1 additional monster if your life points are heavy or higher, and she also lets you draw a card. Every time you gain LP, she'll draw you a card. So she's really good to have early game. Rogue stops hand traps and effect monsters, so like flip monsters. Can't activate if your life points are. She also prevents hand traps. And if you gain life points, she'll let you change your battle position to manipulate it for battle phases. So if they have a battle and your life points are below them, and you can trigger Humid Winds to give you 500 more, and then change it to defense in battle phase. It's really good. Same with Poison to the Oman. Poison to the Oman lets you do the same thing, but you can change it to, like, even when it's in battle, when it declares battle, change it to defense and then in battle phase, because if they only have 1 monster. Cactus Bouncer stops him from special summoning. We don't special summon in this deck. Once he's out, you pretty much either Fragrance Storm him or tribute him for One Flare Synchron, which is a tuner for a specific card. That one, which I'll get to in a second. Juggernaut is a hand trap that lets you special summon it and gain 1,000 life points. It's really good for their turn to activate Rosemary's effect. It also gives you 1,000 more, so if you get Yasmin out, you always want to try and get her out in defense, but if you can't, and she has 100 and like there's 1,000 less, if 1,000 attack or less wants to try to take her out, you can give her 1,100 attack by tributing this card, so it's really handy that way. Nettles is a level 2 tuner. 2 Rose Archers, these let you mirror forces, so if you attack and they activate a mirror force, like if you attack with like Kananga, a mirror force, any plant monster, you can send this from your hand to the graveyard and negate the trap and destroy it. Really good that way. Rose Paladin is good for getting out Yasmin, so she can destroy a monster, send her to the graveyard, and special summon out Yasmin. So she's good that way. And Twilight Rose Knight, once you deploy her, or once you summon her, you can special summon another monster, so good also for Jasmine or Rosemary, Kananga, anyone pretty much. She's also a level 3 tuner, which is handy. Extra deck, the Flare lets you negate 1 spell or trap card per turn. She's also really handy for in-game. Go-Go Guardian is good for getting Bergamot out if you don't have a monster, so you can do that. Magical Android is in case you don't have a Aroma Jar. It's just a good way to get constant life points. Mistbird, draw like a 4k monsters you can't get over, because the highest that Bergamot can get to is 44 with these, so like you'd have to do double these to get 44. So if you can't get over it, these let you target a monster and bring it to 0 on their side of the field, which is really good. If they try to Regaku you or anything like that, you can send 2 cards from your graveyard or from the top of your deck to the graveyard and negate it. So that's just a really handy card for preventing. It's pretty much like a Stardust Dragon, only it doesn't come back. Queen of Thorns, because we only really run plant type monsters in this deck, it makes your enemy pay 1,000 to summon it. So there's no downside to having this card. If they try to normal summon, they have to pay 1,000 life points. It just helps keep your life points higher to activate all the other effects. Splendid Rose is pretty much banish 1 from your graveyard and half an attack of an enemy. It's really good. You can also do it on their, like, if they live with like 8, banish 1 and then make you have another additional attack. Stardust Warrior, when you summon, you draw a card, pretty much. He's just in this deck because he draws a card and he's a 6-star tuner. He's a 6-star synchro, so you can do it with like Kanaga and Twilight Rose. You can do it with Nettles and like any 4-star, so Janago, Rosemary, etc. Furry Knight field resetter, so you do 2, so you XYZ both of these, and that clears the entire field. Then you can use Melanie of the Trees, one of your Bergamot, so you can 2 Kanangas will make her, and then once per turn you can target one. You can detach Kananga, target a Bergamot in your graveyard, special summon it to the field, and then the next turn detach the other Kananga, bring back one of your Kanangas, so you get the 500 the 500 debuff for your and the bounce back again. So Silent Number Arc is to take control of one monster that can't be destroyed by battle. So if you're going against like a special summon monster that can't be destroyed by battle, you can take control of it, just get it off the field, pretty much. Number 103 is going against like equip cards or cards by like field spells or anything like that. Target one face-up attack monster that your opponent controls, whose attack is different, and then destroy it. And if you do, you draw a card, so it's pretty decent. And then Black Sheep of Corn is like a last-minute field cleaner, so if there's like a 2k on the field and you only have like 2 Rosemaries and you can't get over them, you can XYZ both Rosemaries, get Black Sheep, and then that will destroy any monster that's less than 2100 and inflict an additional 1k on your enemy. So it's pretty good. It ends up like 3100 altogether if they don't have any other monsters. Side deck is Lighten the Load. That's if you want to run bigger cards like Princess of Camelus, which is pretty decent. Queen Angel of Roses, Princess with the Cherry Blossoms, Talala. Like these are all pretty decent cards. She gains a and also stops all your other cards being destroyed by Regaki. If a card goes to target your cards on the field, one plant type monster on the field, negate the activation. This is pretty good as it's like a field stopper. You've also got like your Princess of Sunflowers. She lets you if one of your cards by one card gets destroyed by a card effect, then she lets you destroy one card on your enemy owns. So I don't run any of those, but I'm saying you could. So that's what that's in there for. Double Parallel Twister, send one trap to the graveyard, activate one, or destroy one. It's pretty much like a spell version of Dust Tornado. Except you don't have to discard with Dust Tornado, which is why I run those. Defenders Intersect, which has changed like all face down monsters into face up in case you're running against like a flip deck. Or a Ghost Trick deck or something like that. Link Defensive Action is in case you're running against like a Ghost Trick deck. Or a deck that wants to like pretty much just set everything. Shadow Imprison Mirrors negate monsters' effects in the graveyard. Stops juggle of cards. Skill Drain. I wouldn't run this personally, it's just in the side deck in case you do. Because it actually just hinders you completely. Because you don't really have any big beaters in this deck. They all rely on their abilities, but it's in there. Synchro Injection is in case you go up against like a really bad synchro. So like the Blizzard cards, the one that lets you discard the card in your hand and destroy one on your field, anything like that. This just like lets you get rid of it. And then two of these, which I don't run, but if you have like a synchro tuner, the extra deck is pretty much whatever you want to run. I just run these because they make the most sense for me. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I'll post a link below with some duels. I'm going to do some duels now, separate. Get some highlights of some duels, and then below that shows up. Or I might add at the end of this video if I can get my editing software to work. So, hope you guys enjoyed and found this deck useful. Talk to you later. Peace.